Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. The crypto world is a perpetual whirlwind, isn't it? It's just notorious for its rapid shifts. You see new platforms seemingly appearing overnight to challenge the established giants, constantly reshaping the landscape of digital finance. Today, we're diving headfirst into one of the most fascinating and, frankly, intensely competitive battles playing out right now. It's the struggle for dominance in the world of new token launches. And this isn't just about technical specifications, it's really about cultural momentum, user behavior, and maybe even the very definition of digital value.
Indeed. And we've taken a close look at, a comprehensive stack of sources. We're talking everything from Nansen data, Dune Analytics reports, articles from Cointelegraph, and some really insightful commentary from founders like Brian Huang and Alexander Cutler. And these sources detail a truly significant recent development. It's the impressive surge of the Ethereum Layer-2 network base, specifically through applications like Zora, which has sort of suddenly thrown down the gauntlet. It's challenged Solana's long-held leadership in the creation and launch of new tokens. So our mission today is to thoroughly unpack what's driving this intense competition. We want to explore the distinct strengths and the weaknesses of each contender, and ultimately figure out what this rapid evolution means for the future of crypto, especially for you, the everyday user who might be navigating these new digital frontiers.
Okay, let's unpack this with the depth and clarity you've come to expect from the deep dive. We're going to start by exploring what made Solana the undisputed incumbent, right? A true powerhouse in this specific niche for so long. Then we'll pivot to understand how Base and its flagship application, Zora, have managed to disrupt that seemingly unshakable position. And finally, we'll zoom in on perhaps the most critical question surrounding all this rapid innovation, which is the actual long-term value, or maybe the lack thereof, of these thousands of newly launched tokens. By the end of this deep dive, you should walk away with a much clearer, more nuanced understanding of this high-stakes game. All right. So for years now, if you were looking to launch a new token, especially something as volatile and fast-moving as a meme coin, Solana has been the go-to chain, no question. It's been the undisputed heavyweight champion in this arena, consistently attracting the lion's share of activity. So what exactly made it such a powerhouse in this specific area? How did it maintain such a strong grip on this particular segment of the crypto market for so long?
Yeah, Solana's dominance in new token launches, particularly for meme coins, it's anything but accidental,
Yeah.
really. It's built on a foundation of, fundamental advantages that have consistently drawn traders, developers, and even casual users away from older, often more congested networks like Ethereum. Its position as the preferred chain stems directly from its core technical strengths, and these strengths perfectly align with the demands of rapid, high-volume token creation and trading.
Can you elaborate on those core technical strengths? Because fast and cheap is, it's a common refrain in crypto. But it seems Solana took it to a different level that really resonated uniquely with this segment of the market.
Absolutely. At its heart, Solana offers exceptionally low transaction fees. I mean, imagine trying to mint or create tens of thousands of tokens a day on a network where each transaction costs several dollars. It would simply be economically unfeasible for most individual creators or small projects. Solana's fees, often fractions of a cent. So high-volume activity becomes incredibly cost-effective, and coupled with these low fees is its remarkably high throughput. That just means it can process an enormous number of transactions per second, far exceeding many competitors. To put it into perspective, it's like having a super-fast multi-lane highway where the tolls are almost non-existent.
Right.
These two technical specifications are just a perfect fit for the rapid, high-volume, and often, let's face it, impulsive activity that characterizes new token launches, especially those in the meme coin space, where speed to market and the ability to handle spikes in demands are absolutely paramount.
So it's not just about being cheap and fast, though those are clearly huge draws for anyone looking to launch something quickly. It sounds like there's a whole culture or an entire ecosystem that has grown around those capabilities, almost tailored to these kinds of rapid-fire launches, like a whole industry sprung up around Solana's unique capabilities.
Precisely. Solana has successfully cultivated an environment that actively attracts and fosters innovative projects, and yes, this includes a significant number of meme coins. You see this reflected in the proliferation of dedicated launchpads and tooling that make it incredibly easy for anyone to create a token. Pump.fund, for instance, is a prime example of a platform that has truly flourished on Solana. Our sources report that this platform alone is literally spawning tens of thousands of tokens daily.
Tens of thousands.
Daily. This immense volume isn't just a byproduct. It's a testament to the network's capacity and its established role as the primary venue for these types of launches. The sheer number of tokens being created and traded on Solana on a daily basis has deeply solidified its position as the undisputed leader in this specific niche. It creates this self-reinforcing cycle of activity.
Yeah. And is that still the case? Even with new players like Base emerging and making headlines, is Solana still holding its ground as the activity leader across the broader crypto landscape, or are these new challengers actually eating into its overall market share? Absolutely, it's still holding ground. Even with these new challengers emerging, the Nansen data confirms Solana still leads in critical activity metrics across the board. And this isn't just about specific types of tokens or niche applications. It includes overall users engaging with the network, the total number of transactions being processed daily, and a broad spectrum of ecosystem activity encompassing not just meme coins, but also DeFi, NFTs, gaming, and more. This broad and deep entrenchment in the crypto landscape underscores that its dominance extends far beyond just new token launches. It's a holistic lead, really. It indicates a robust and diverse network effect that isn't easily dislodged.
That makes a lot of sense. It's one thing to have the raw speed and low cost, which are certainly compelling, but it's another thing entirely to have the whole infrastructure to support it. So what you're saying is this isn't just about impressive technical specs in isolation. There's a deeper, more fundamental foundation at play here that gives Solana a significant advantage.
Precisely. This isn't merely about speed and cost in isolation. It's about years of consistent ecosystem building and refinement. Solana benefits immensely from well-established liquidity pools. Think of these as enormous, constantly flowing reservoirs of cryptocurrency. They allow users to easily and instantly buy and sell tokens without having to wait for a direct buyer or seller. This immediate exchangeability is crucial for any functional token market, especially for volatile assets.
Right, you need to be able to get in and out.
Exactly. Furthermore, it boasts mature decentralized finance, or DeFi, protocols. These are financial applications built on the blockchain lending, borrowing, trading, all without traditional intermediaries. These protocols have been developed, tested, and adopted over time, providing a robust financial infrastructure that new tokens can immediately tap into. And perhaps most critically, Solana has cultivated a robust and highly active developer community. These are devs accustomed to shipping at speed, as they say. This means there's a strong talent pool building and iterating on the network, constantly adding new tools, applications, and innovative solutions. It isn't just a few individual projects, it's a vibrant, interconnected network of builders and users. This deep infrastructure provides a significant moat, a powerful defensive advantage. It makes it incredibly harder for newcomers to displace Solana from its leading position, even when those newcomers demonstrate impressive bursts of activity. It's the difference between building a single fast car and building an entire thriving city with interconnected transport systems, services, and a bustling economy. Solana is that established city, constantly expanding and refining its infrastructure.
But the crypto world loves a good challenger, right? The narrative of a disruptor taking on an established giant is always compelling, and we've certainly seen one explode onto the scene recently. Suddenly, Coinbase's Base, an Ethereum Layer-2 network, which, maybe for those less familiar, you can think of it like a superhighway built on top of the main Ethereum blockchain to handle transactions much faster and cheaper passment. It's entered the ring with a massive surge in new token launches. How exactly has a Base, and specifically this application Zora, made such a splash? How did it challenge Solana's seemingly unshakable position in such a short amount of time?
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is that Base's surge isn't just mimicking Solana's meme coin economy directly, the one that focuses primarily on pure financial speculation and viral hype. No, Base is powered by a completely different engine, a new wave of SocialFi activity. So while Solana thrives on rapid, often volatile meme coin launches where the token's value is mainly driven by speculation, Base, through Zora, has tapped into the intersection of social media and decentralized finance. It's a distinct approach. It leverages different user behaviors and motivations, almost creating a new category of on-chain activity.
So instead of just launching random speculative tokens, Base is focused on turning everyday social interactions and content creation into financial opportunities. That sounds like a really powerful and maybe a more intuitive concept for a broader audience. Tell us more about this SocialFi revolution and how it actually works on Base.
Exactly. This new token economy on Base is built around something inherently familiar to most people: their everyday social media posts, viral moments, the tools available to creators. Imagine your common online interactions: a tweet, a short video, an insightful blog post, a captivating image. On Zora, these can be tokenized. This means a creator can mint their social media post as a unique, tradable digital asset, often an NFT, that can then be bought, sold, or collected by their audience.
It leverages the power of community, direct content creation, and immediate engagement. Users can literally collect a piece of a viral moment or support their favorite creators by acquiring their tokenized posts. It's an interesting blend, really. Digital collectibles, fan engagement, social influence, all immutably recorded on-chain. It creates a new layer of engagement and potential value directly tied to online culture.
That's a compelling narrative, especially for creators. But what was the specific spark? What truly ignited this kind of explosive growth for Base and Zora? There must have been a key moment or a strategic decision that kicked this off and opened the floodgates.
There absolutely was a pivotal moment, and it came directly from Coinbase, a major player in the crypto space, obviously. The catalyst was Coinbase's strategic rebrand of its widely used wallet to the Base app. That happened on July 16th. Now, this wasn't just a cosmetic change or a simple name tweak. It was a fundamental shift in strategy. Coinbase transformed its ubiquitous wallet application into a sophisticated creators hub. They deeply integrated native social tools like Zora and Farcaster. This deep integration allowed users to seamlessly post, mint, and trade their tokenized content directly within the app, bypassing complex external processes.
So much easier then.
Exactly. It drastically lowered the barrier to entry, making the process incredibly user-friendly and accessible for anyone already familiar with the Coinbase ecosystem. It effectively brought the power of tokenizing social content to a much wider, more mainstream audience than ever before. It was a masterstroke in user experience and distribution, really.
And when you say the impact of this rebrand was immediate, how immediate are we talking? Do we have any concrete numbers, any data from our sources to put this explosive growth into perspective?
The effect was truly instantaneous and dramatic. The Dune Analytics data shows it clearly. That's a public dashboard tracking blockchain activity in real time. On July 16th, the very day of the rebrand, Base recorded 7,557 new token launches.
Okay, 7,500.
Right. The very next day, July 17th, that number didn't just double. It approximately tripled to a staggering 22,098 new tokens.
Wow. Tripled.
Tripled in 24 hours. Think about that for a moment. That's a profound testament to the power of that strategic rebrand, the accessibility of the new Base app, and maybe the pent-up demand for such a SocialFi-centric platform that makes content monetization so seamless.
Wow, that's an incredible jump in such a short time frame. So Zora wasn't just growing, it was rocketing past established players in the space, directly challenging Solana's long-standing leaders. Can you give us a sense of how quickly it climbed the ranks to secure its position at the very top of daily token launches?
Zora's rise was truly meteoric, almost unprecedented in its speed. On July 17th, the same day Base saw that massive surge in token launches, Zora actually surpassed Pump.5.
Pump.5, the big Solana one.
The big Solana one, yeah.
Yeah.
Previously the undisputed leader. Zora seized the second spot in the entire industry for daily token launches. And this was happening even as Solana's own Let's Bonk, another meme coin platform, was gaining on Pump.Fund's market share. So the competition on Solana was already fierce. But Zora was moving even faster, on an entirely different trajectory. By July 23rd, less than a week later, Zora had overtaken Let's Bonk to claim the coveted top spot for daily token launches across the entire industry.
Less than a week.
Less than a week.
Yeah.
And then the very next day, July 24th, Zora truly cemented its lead. An astonishing 38,254 token launches.
38,000?
38,254. This figure didn't just beat its rivals, it exceeded the combined total of Solana's rival meme coin platforms, which together recorded about 29,000 tokens that day. It wasn't just a slight lead, it was a decisive, undeniable leap to the forefront.
That's truly a remarkable and rapid shift in market dynamics. In such a short period, it sounds like Base, through Zora, has found a unique angle, a distinctive value proposition that maybe Solana's meme coin market hasn't fully captured, allowing it to carve out its own space rather than just directly competing. Is it fair to say this is about more than just raw numbers? It's about a distinct identity and a new kind of cultural hook.
Exactly. This surge profoundly demonstrates how quickly on-chain momentum can shift, especially when a platform finds a truly compelling cultural hook. Zora has given Base a unique niche rooted firmly in content creation and the broader SocialFi paradigm. It's not just about financial speculation or trading digital assets for profit. It's about a new form of digital expression, ownership, and direct fan engagement tied to online content. This provides an incredibly strong cultural hook that is currently driving significant user engagement and curiosity. It's drawing in users who might not typically be interested in traditional, purely speculative meme coin trading. It's a different kind of value proposition altogether, appealing to creators and their communities who see a more direct, tangible connection between their online activity and potential on-chain value.
And it seems like this novelty and this compelling cultural hook aren't just attracting new users, but even some very prominent and influential figures in the crypto space. Who are we seeing jump into the Zora ecosystem, and what does their involvement signify?
Yes, this novelty and the underlying SocialFi mechanics are even starting to attract some of crypto's most well-known and respected figures. We're seeing engagement from individuals like Zion Thomas, who is better known as Ansem.
Ansem, the Solana guy.
Exactly, the Solana guy. He earned that nickname due to his significant influence, early adoption, and successful investments in the Solana meme coin space. The fact that someone so closely associated with Solana, a key figure in its ecosystem, is now publicly exploring and talking about Base's Zora, that's a very strong indicator of its growing influence and perceived legitimacy. Even Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum, has reportedly shown interest and engaged with Zora.
Wow, Vitalik too.
Yeah, which further validates the platform's innovative approach and signals its importance within the broader Ethereum ecosystem. Their presence brings significant attention, capital, and further catalyzes user curiosity and adoption. They act as powerful endorsements, essentially.
That's a huge endorsement when the Solana guy himself is checking out the competition. Now, you mentioned Solana's incredibly high throughput earlier as one of its core strengths, its ability to process millions of transactions. How does Base stack up in that regard, especially during these high-volume moments you described? Does it have the technical muscle to truly compete on that fundamental level with Solana's established speed?
Well, Base's throughput typically falls short of Solana's overall consistent capacity on a day-to-day basis. Let's be clear on that. But it did demonstrate its competitive potential during a particularly high-volume token launch event. During that surge, Base reached a peak of 959 transactions per second, or TPS.
Okay, almost 1,000 TPS. That's not bad.
Not bad at all for an Ethereum Layer-2. It clearly shows its capability to handle intense, brief periods of activity. But it's still generally lower than Solana's typical operating throughput, which is often in the thousands of TPS, let alone Solana's ambitious future aspirations we might touch on later. So it highlights Base's ability to handle bursts of activity and its potential for scale, but it also points to the ongoing challenge. The challenge of scaling to Solana's level of sustained, extreme efficiency across its entire network, day in and day out. Base is fast, yes, but Solana aims to be orders of magnitude faster.
Okay, that all sounds incredibly exciting. A new challenger, rapid growth, viral adoption, even major crypto figures jumping on board. It paints a very optimistic picture. But whenever something grows that quickly in crypto, there's almost always a chorus of critics asking the tough, skeptical questions, isn't there? So, let's get to it. What does all this explosive growth mean for the actual tangible value of these thousands upon thousands of new tokens being launched on Zora? Is this phenomenon truly sustainable, or are we potentially looking at another fleeting trend, another digital mirage?
This raises an absolutely critical question, and it's one that we must grapple with directly. Not everyone is convinced that the thousands of new Zora tokens, or frankly many new tokens launched on any platform, hold genuine monetary value in the long term. The primary and most significant concern revolves around a concept called liquidity.
Liquidity, right.
And the overall long-term viability of these assets. When we talk about liquidity in crypto, we mean the ease and speed with which an asset can be converted into cash or other widely accepted cryptocurrencies like ETH or USDC without significantly affecting its market price. Without adequate liquidity, a token, no matter how popular its underlying content or how enthusiastic its community, becomes essentially useless from a financial standpoint. It's like owning a rare collectible that absolutely no one is willing to buy from you.
So it's not enough to just create a token or even to have people collect it. You need a robust, active market where people can actually buy and sell it freely on demand. What exactly happens if that market is there? If the liquidity dries up or maybe never appears in the first place?
Exactly. Brian Huang, the co-founder of Glider, he articulated this major flaw quite directly, and his critique is very pointed. He stated that most users have unknowingly entered into a market with an often overlooked flaw. There's usually no liquidity to ever sell the token, trapping both creators and their fans in a worthless token.
Trapping them. Wow.
Yeah, it's a crucial point that gets to the heart of the skepticism. It means that even if you're excited about a creator's post and decide to mint their token, or even if you buy it from someone else, you might find yourself unable to convert it back into more widely accepted liquid cryptocurrencies, or ultimately into fiat currency. It simply sits in your wallet, a digital souvenir with no practical monetary exchangeability. The value in that scenario is purely speculative and abstract, unable to be realized financially.
And does this translate into a broader critique of the way we even measure success in this space? Because if sheer volume of token creation isn't leading to actual liquid value, then what metrics should we be looking at? Is it a case of what some call vanity metrics?
Huang takes this skepticism further. He dismisses counting token creation as a metric of success entirely. He argues, quite forcefully, that counting the number of tokens created is a worthless metric.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's the value of these tokens in aggregate that's important. His perspective is simple. Creating 1 million tokens that are each worth 0 still sums up to 0. From a purely financial standpoint, high creation numbers without corresponding market depth are, well, meaningless. He goes on to express a deeply pessimistic view on the future of these content-based tokens, stating, as you can imagine, in a world where social media is generally considered free, 99.99% of these content tokens will be similarly worthless.
99.99%.
That's stark. It's a stark reminder that novelty and ease of creation alone do not automatically equate to intrinsic or sustainable financial value. It challenges the very idea that just tokenizing a social post inherently creates a market for it.
That's a pretty harsh assessment, suggesting the vast majority of these tokens will end up being worthless. Has there been any real-world testing or maybe anecdotal evidence that directly supports this concern about the lack of liquidity?
Unfortunately, yes. Cointelegraph, in their own reporting on this phenomenon, conducted a practical real-world test. They attempted to create and promote their own test post on Zora, essentially launching their own tokenized piece of content.
Okay, what happened?
The result, it failed to attract any liquidity or investors. 0.
Really? Even from a major outlet like Cointelegraph?
Even from them. This real-world test directly underscores Huang's concern. It illustrates that simply tokenizing a post, even from a well-known media outlet on a trending platform, does not automatically imbue it with financial value or create a ready market for it. It's a sobering result for those hoping for immediate financial returns from their tokenized content. It implies that for every one token that gains traction, there are thousands, maybe tens of thousands, that simply languish, unloved, and untraded.
Now, this problem, where most new tokens don't find a market or gain significant value, sounds strikingly familiar. Is this issue unique to Base and Zora, or have we seen this pattern before in other parts of the crypto market, maybe even on Solana?
Oh, this problem is absolutely not unique to Zora or Base. Not at all. The sources remind us that Solana's meme coin boom has followed a strikingly similar, often brutal path. As Cointelegraph previously reported, almost 99% of tokens launched on Pump.fun, that massive launchpad on Solana we discussed earlier, the one spawning tens of thousands of tokens daily bearing. Almost 99% of those also failed to gain enough attention and liquidity, ultimately rendering them worthless.
So the same 99% problem.
Pretty much the same problem, yeah. This suggests a systemic issue within the broader rapid token launch space, regardless of the underlying chain. It's a recurring pattern. Low barrier to entry leads to an explosion of new assets, but the vast majority lack any sustainable market demand. And while it's true that on rare occasions, a handful of Solana meme coins do beat these overwhelming odds, they become tradable, maybe even surge to millions in market capitalization, often aided by the immense influence of celebrity endorsements or, surprisingly, backing by political leaders.
Right, those odd cases get a lot of attention.
They do. But the vast majority simply vanish into obscurity, becoming digital dust. However, even these breakout cases aren't without their issues. Many have also been plagued with scam allegations. The source specifically cited examples like fake Trump and Melania tokens, which quickly became embroiled in controversy. So the challenges of establishing genuine value, ensuring liquidity, and maintaining legitimacy are clearly not exclusive to the new SocialFi model on Base. They are deeply ingrained inherent risks in the high-volume, low-barrier token launch ecosystem across the entire crypto space.
So on one hand, we have this strong data-backed skepticism about the inherent value of these tokens and the huge risk of illiquidity. On the other hand, there must be proponents who see a different kind of value or perhaps a different path to success, especially from the perspective of user adoption and engagement. Is there anyone defending Zora's model, maybe with a different philosophy of what constitutes value in this emerging space?
Yes, there is. Alexander Cutler, who is the CEO of Aerodrome, a decentralized exchange operating on Base, publicly defended Zora's approach. He suggested that its appeal extends far beyond the typical crypto trader and taps into a more mainstream user base, often referred to as normies.
Normies, right.
He stated on X, "I've onboarded more normies to it than anything in crypto, and they're enjoying it. The speculators are just making the markets." His argument implies that for these normies, the immediate monetary value isn't the primary driver.
Instead, it's about the engagement, the unique experience of tokenizing their social activities, and the novelty of digital ownership. The financial value, in his view, might emerge more organically from this speculative interest and user enjoyment rather than through traditional market fundamentals. It's almost a redefinition of what value might mean in this context, maybe a social or experiential value that precedes, or perhaps even eventually creates, financial value.
That points to a fascinating yet potentially contentious differing philosophy then. It's less about a token's intrinsic financial value and more about its social or experiential value, at least initially. Are the creators of Base or Zora themselves echoing the sentiment? Are they actively distinguishing their tokens from, say, the pure financial speculation of meme coins?
Indeed, there are very distinct and differing philosophies at play here. Jesse Pollack, who is the creator of Base, reportedly argues that Zora tokens are fundamentally different from pump.fun meme coins. He suggests they possess a higher or maybe more nuanced form of value, perhaps implying that their connection to original content and social interaction makes them more meaningful than pure speculative assets.
Okay, so he sees a difference.
He does. However, our sources also indicate significant pushback from other crypto founders on this claim, suggesting that for many the core issue remains unresolved. The underlying question persists. Does merely tokenizing a social media post inherently create sustainable value if there's no deep liquid market for it? Even if normies are genuinely enjoying the experience, is that enjoyment sufficient to eventually create a robust, sustainable economic model for thousands upon thousands of these tokens? It's a live debate in the crypto space. It pits a purely financial valuation based on liquidity and tradability against a more experiential, community-driven, or cultural valuation. And the big question is how these two might or might not converge to create lasting, transferable value.
Okay, so we have this incredible, undeniable surge on Base via Zora, driven by these new social dynamics, but also very significant and well-articulated questions about the long-term value and, critically, the liquidity of these tokens. It's a classic crypto dilemma playing out in real time, isn't it? The tension between explosive hype and the fundamental need for sustainability. If we connect this to the bigger picture, how does Solana, the incumbent, manage to maintain its lead amidst such aggressive competition? And what will be the real defining test for Base going forward to prove its longevity beyond this initial viral moment?
Right. Despite Base's impressive growth and all the headline-grabbing token launch numbers, Solana retains a significant and often overlooked advantage. It's in several key areas that extend far beyond just raw transaction counts or daily token creations. Its lead is more deeply rooted, built on years of development and network effects.
So it's about the entire network effect, the full depth and breadth of the ecosystem, rather than just one single metric like daily token launches. Can you elaborate on what these holistic activity metrics reveal about Solana's enduring strength?
Absolutely. When we look at holistic activity metrics, Solana still leads the crypto industry across almost every broader indicator. This isn't just about how many tokens are being launched, but the sheer depth and breadth of its entire ecosystem. Its strength comes from years of established ecosystem building. We're talking the deep liquidity pools we discussed earlier, crucial for stable and efficient markets for all sorts of assets. It also boasts mature DeFi protocols that have been built, refined, and widely adopted over time, offering a wide array of financial services. This comprehensive and robust infrastructure, coupled with its active and dedicated developer community, it makes it incredibly difficult for newer platforms, even those with viral surges, to truly displace Solana from its entrenched position as a general-purpose, high-performance blockchain. It's like comparing a fast-growing sapling to a deeply rooted old-growth forest. The sapling might sprout quickly, but the forest has an immense, established, and interconnected foundation.
That analogy of a deeply rooted forest really captures it. But the speed and efficiency race in crypto is never truly over, is it? Even with its established lead and impressive current performance, is Solana still pushing the boundaries on that front? Are they trying to extend their technical edge even further?
Absolutely. The throughput race continues relentlessly in the blockchain space, and Solana is definitely not resting on its laurels. While Base impressively hit that peak of 959 TPS during a surge, Solana is actively boosting its performance through significant ongoing technical upgrades. It's currently in the process of adopting FireDancer.
FireDancer, right. What's that again?
It's a new validator client. Like of it is a completely rebuilt next-generation engine for verifying transactions and securing the network. Internal tests have already shown that FireDancer could dramatically boost Solana's performance to an incredible 1 million transactions per second.
1 million. TPS.
1 million TPS. That's not a typo.
That's just astronomical.
It is. And it demonstrates Solana's unwavering commitment to maintaining and extending its technical edge in efficiency and scalability. They're constantly pushing the envelope, which further solidifies its long-term potential in high-volume, high-frequency applications. It aims to be the fastest, most scalable blockchain in the world, period.
That's a staggering number.
1 million TPS is almost hard to comprehend, like light speed for a blockchain. It certainly highlights Solana's commitment to raw processing power. But bringing it back to Base then, what's the actual litmus test for its future? What will ultimately determine if this Zora-fueled surge is just a flash in the pan, another short-lived crypto fad, or is it a truly fundamental, sustainable shift in the on-chain landscape? The surge on Base certainly highlights how quickly on-chain momentum can shift, especially when a platform effectively finds and leverages a powerful cultural hook, like Zora has done so successfully with content creation and SocialFi. That novelty is incredibly powerful for driving initial user engagement and curiosity, as we've seen with the dramatic numbers. However, and this is the crucial part that will define Base's long-term success, the underlying economics for these new tokens, despite their virality, remain young and fragile. That's a good way to put it. The real challenge for Base isn't just generating viral moments or attracting initial curiosity. It's about translating those ephemeral bursts of activity into sustained ecosystems. This requires a profound shift from novelty to genuine utility and lasting value. Specifically, it demands developing real liquidity for these thousands of new tokens, which, as we've discussed, is currently a major concern and a significant hurdle.
The big elephant in the room.
The big one. It also means cultivating sticky users. People who don't just visit once to mint a token, but return repeatedly because they find genuine ongoing value and utility in the applications built on Base. And finally, it requires creating applications that hold attention after the novelty fades. Platforms and tools that provide lasting benefits and engagement beyond the initial excitement of simply tokenizing a post. Brian Wrong's powerful closing thought really captures this dilemma and sums up the core skepticism perfectly. He directly questions the entire premise of tokenizing social posts in this manner. He asks, why not just let fans tip creators directly? Seems like a much more straightforward and well-understood solution.
Good question.
Instead, he continues, we have this convoluted process, which seems like a way to boost vanity metrics on Base without creating long-term value. His point is simple. If the underlying need is to support creators and facilitate fan engagement, why introduce a potentially illiquid complex token when simpler, more direct mechanisms for digital tipping or patronage already exist and are widely understood? This points to the inherent risk that the current Zora phenomenon on Base might be more about inflating on-chain activity numbers and showcasing raw volume than about building a genuinely sustainable economic model for creators and users that provides lasting transferable value.
This raises an incredibly important question about the sustainability and genuine utility of these new approaches in the long run. Without that foundation of real value, real liquidity, and truly sustained user engagement, the current surge, no matter how impressive the numbers look today, it risks becoming, as you said, another short-lived chapter in crypto's constant churn of on-chain fads. It's a powerful cautionary tale in a market driven so often by hype, reminding us that genuine utility and underlying economic soundness are often the true arbiters of long-term success.
Wow, what a deep dive into the fascinating, fast-paced world of crypto platform competition. We've peeled back the layers to see Solana's established strength built on years of efficiency, low fees, and that mature ecosystem, and then Base's explosive SocialFi-driven challenge through Zora, leveraging a completely different kind of cultural momentum. It's a vivid reminder of how quickly momentum can shift in this space, but also how absolutely essential fundamental value, real liquidity, and long-term utility remain in the grand scheme of things.
Absolutely. While Zora's meteoric rise on Base is undoubtedly exciting, and it showcases the sheer power of cultural adoption and innovative user experiences in crypto, the ultimate test for its longevity and for similar models will be their ability to move beyond fleeting viral moments and raw transaction counts. The focus has to shift decisively to building genuine, accessible liquidity for these tokens, and fostering sticky user engagement that goes beyond just novelty, and crucially, creating applications that provide lasting, tangible value to users. As we've seen time and time again, hype can generate immense attention and initial excitement, but only true substance, real utility, and sound economics can sustain an ecosystem over the long haul.
So as you continue to explore the ever-evolving crypto landscape, navigating these surges and shifts, maybe consider this. How do you evaluate the true long-term value of a new token or burgeoning platform beyond just the initial hype and the impressive launch statistics? What critical questions do you ask yourself to determine if something is just a fleeting fad destined for obscurity, or if it's maybe a foundational shift that will genuinely reshape the future of digital assets? Keep those questions in mind as you make your own observations. And hey, if you enjoy this deep dive and found it valuable, maybe take a quick moment to subscribe, leave a comment down below, or share it with a friend. Your engagement really helps us support the channel. It boosts visibility in the algorithm. And honestly, it just lets us keep creating quality crypto content like this for you. We really appreciate it. And we'll be back soon with another deep dive.